Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you'll see, it's called Crit Life. This is going to be my first video I decided to make to show how I hit 638 million. This is of course recorded before the driver nerf that came out last week. I was going to capture new gameplay because I do use the redundant brainstormer now as well on top of the crossroads. But instead of capturing new videos and all that, I just had the recording to do for the audio voiceover, and I decided to just leave it as it is, just because the fact that really it's not going to make too much of a difference. Now you'll notice I just went down there. I do have Guardian Angel. At the end of the video I'm going to show you a build tree not using Guardian Angel just to maximize the damage output, as well as the ability to freeze. This is a Cryo Amara build, as you'll notice, and if you do hit crits, it is very, very rewarding. There is no bug that I know of anyways, and there is no cheat to do this. This is a legitimate synergized build that I haven't seen anywhere else. That being said, there's a little bit of gameplay here at the beginning of the video up until about the Valkyries. When I do hit an insane number that you've seen at the start. I'm not exactly sure what the potential for how many 100 million I can hit now. I haven't screen capped anything, but in playing I haven't really noticed the difference since the driver got a speed nerf, so I just decided to leave the video as it is and do my voiceover over it. So again, this revolves heavily around a certain class mod and using a specific manufacturer type of gun, because it is a build centered around crits and cryo. So stacking those two together seems to do amazing things, as cryo damage gives you an additional crit bonus on top of the melee bonus and splash damage bonus that you get to frozen enemies. You'll see some of the gear and skill points near the end of this video, but for now I've just got some gameplay going just to showcase the potential behind it. I have kind of tweaked this a little bit in regards to the elements I'm using and everything. Right now in this video I'm using corrosive, just because I do have the Guardian Angel skill as opposed to going into the red tree. So most of the skills that I'm using here are in green and blue, and I actually have nothing in the red tree. But at the end of the video I'll touch more on the skills needed for it. That being said, let's just enjoy some gameplay here, and you can see when I do hit the crit spot, like the tanks on the back of the heavies, as well as some of the smaller enemies, they do have tanks too, and that's the crits for them. Some of the enemies, it's kind of hard to learn where their crit spots are. For instance, if you're going to be doing the proving grounds, some of the Nogs, it took me a while to figure out where their crit spot was, but it's actually right in the center of their back. There's a little circle. So when you freeze them, just run around behind them and pop that crit. This is very skill based and aiming, as opposed to just stacking your extra projectiles and shooting them in the foot and doing that crazy damage. Again, this is a legitimate build. I had an idea and I used it and ran with it, and it ended up being insane. So I have hinted at quite a few people in our loot drop Facebook group that the build is coming, and it did take me a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I did leave town for about a week, and since then I've just been trying to play the game some more. I do have a second build that's coming out, but we'll touch base on that later. So here you'll see me shooting for the tank after a slam. I do have 300% slam siren gear, and right here you'll notice that I finally froze the enemy while I hit the crit spot, and it just destroyed everything, and that's pretty much consistent. What we're looking to do is freeze the enemy and hit the crit. because you get that massive bonus 300% on top of everything that you'll see coming up here in just a second. Okay, so here we are with the build. Sorry for the choppy editing here. It's my first video and I'm just trying to get this out. I do have another build to come out with, like I had hinted at. So just trying to get this one done. I'm not really worried about the finesse of everything. So we're going to start with the green tree, 3 in personal space, get clarity, samsara, helping hands, and mindfulness. Now keep in mind that we do also use guardian rank for raids and slaughter shaft, etc. So this is basically the highest DPS version, but when you do get guardian angel, get clarity, helping hands maxed out, and whatever point left over, just put it wherever. Now we're going to get 5 in tapestry and 1 in the top left, just because we want to be able to freeze them more than we want to do damage with our slam itself. We're also going to get 3 points into the crit skill on the second tier and 5 points into the action skill cooldown. Then we're going to get 1 beneath that, and you guys seen the skills. Sorry that it's going so fast. Just pause the video and get the skills that I get. Basically one of them is going to debuff enemies near the bottom, and the other one's going to do more gun damage. And then you see in the red tree I got anima and I got tempest. Now again, if you're going to get guardian angel, you're not going to go into the red tree at all for anima and tempest, but this is for just basically normal mobbing or running the story, etc. And you're not going to be taking so much aggro, although I do find that getting guardian angel as opposed to the build that you see here is very, very helpful. Now here's the gear. You're going to want a shield or a grenade with cryo damage, but I get the shield. I got the spiritual driver with weapon crit and Hyperion weapon crit. Then I got the spring epicenter with more cryo damage. I've now upgraded that to either the recurring cryo hex with 25% to weapon, grenades and action skill, or even better, the It's Piss grenade with that 25% bonus as well. I find that that is actually the best for freezing and killing enemies. Now we're going to use the Icebreaker Victory Rush God Roll. Everybody's using this for Zane currently, but I had an idea to use it on Amara, and it ended up working extremely well, especially with that crit driver. So it worked out. You obviously seen at the beginning of the video, I hit 638 million. And yeah, so the Cryo Amara is probably one of the best builds, legitimate builds that I've seen anywhere, and it's one that I created myself. So that's the reason for creating this channel and making this video. Now you'll see here I'll go do some damage testing. Keep in mind that this guy doesn't get frozen, so you're not gonna get those insane numbers against the target. However, when you go out into the actual world and start killing enemies and hitting those crit spots, especially when they're frozen, you'll start seeing the difference in numbers that are popping. Keep in mind as well that even between slams or casts, whatever you're going to run with, I do that just for even more DPS, so that when you do get that crit modifier, you're already doing a high enough damage number that it's going to multiply an even higher number, which comes out with an even higher sum. But yeah, so even without all that, from way back here, I'm hitting 91k. Now keep in mind that we do have close and personal, or whatever that top skill is in the green tree. So the closer you are to an enemy, the more damage that you're going to do. So even between slams and casts, it helps a lot to get as close as you can to an enemy without putting yourself in too much danger. But again, if you do choose to get Guardian Angel as opposed to Tempest and Anima, it actually helps with your survivability overall. So that's pretty much it. I know this is kind of rushed and sloppy, but if you pause the video during the builds, you'll be able to see my skill trees and my gear, and go from there. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy it. Have fun. See ya.